Like the Real Housewives of Max Verstappen up in here.
Checo's checked out.
Joe Lonyu is off the track. That steak is cooked.
A lot, I gotta say, a lot is at stake for Steak F1.
Man, even the broadcast couldn't handle that stat.
Man, my heart almost was screaming like, how can anybody be a Lewis Hamilton fan?
No.
Not on my 2024 bingo card.
Yeah, you're gonna have to create a new one now.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Lights Out Latest. My name is Rena. I'm here with Steven, Tristan, and Jason. We are all back. We're going to talk a little bit summer vacay, but also some breaking news that happened while we were on our own little summer vacations. First up, Carlos Sainz to Williams. I think, how many people predicted this? Jason, did you not put this on your original prediction at the very beginning of the year? When we did 2025 predictions?
Sure, I'll take full credit for that. Maybe I did. I hope I did. What would my reasoning be for that? Where else would he go? Like, why would Red Bull want him? Why would Mercedes want him? They want young blood,
young talent,
with George. So it's kind of like, where else do you go? Haas? No, Haas is
I
like,
think our predictions
Worst of the two evils.
I thought we were more inclined. We were like, no, he'll go with Sauber and Kick because obviously they're going to transition over to Audi. But I feel like Jason, being the savant that he is, he might have went the route of Williams early on. I get the feeling that that's true. I don't know. We have to go back in time. Check that out.
Sorry, I got to put in my Red Bull yearbook. I have Max right here.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, put Max away,
it's
man.
Like right here.
It's not the time.
Wonderful.
I
love that picture. It was interesting that it's a multi-year deal because I don't know. I thought he would be more inclined to sign like a 1-year deal and then see what the options are going forward, especially because I'm still so inclined to think that Max could be leaving Red Bull. And Carlos was a Red Bull junior, so I feel like they would still be like that. There's still connections for him to use there. And with Max gone, there's still like there'd be an opening there, I feel like, for him to take.
Yeah.
See, but clearly, Marina, you actually think, and Red Bull clearly does not, because they have signed a driver that likes to nuke their cars to a 3-year deal.
Yeah, man.
That's the difference between you and Red Bull, is you actually have a brain. And something's actually happening up here. So I don't know. Again, we've had some predictions go right. Obviously, the past couple weekends we've talked about. We think that Williams is the only option left for Carlos, and obviously that has worked out. But we've also just been like blindsided by predictions, so you never know. Again, we've talked about should Checo even have a ride next year? Boom, he signs a 3-year deal with Red Bull. So it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
but
and then his seat is on the rocks.
3-year deal.
Yeah.
And then his seat's on the rocks again, and we think, wow, Red Bull grew a brain cell. And then it's like, actually, wait, no. Liberty Media was like, please don't, because we sell tickets. That's
a crazy rumor. I don't believe it.
Crazy rumor.
There's no way.
It is a crazy rumor.
I don't know.
What's not a rumor is that they've asked Max and like drivers to like curse less over the radio. I think we mentioned this, but that's not happening.
No. Oh yeah, absolutely not.
Never.
We need to go full NASCAR in the radio, man.
Yeah, Max pretty much told Liberty Media to like F off. It was like, if they don't want to hear me cuss, then just don't play it on the live broadcast. Like, that's not my problem. I can't imagine being told to like control yourself in any way over the radio, whether it be cussing too much or like being rude or aggressive or whatever. Like, you're driving at 200 plus miles per hour. Like, how are you supposed to control what you're saying? Like, so much adrenaline.
You're losing brain cells.
Literally.
Yeah. Exactly.
Quickly back to the Williams thing. What does it say about Audi? Like, literally,
Audi's a weird
boss,
topic of conversation right now.
And all the money and all the Audi couldn't get him to sign, and he literally just stopped and went to Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, James Vowles must be cooking something crazy over there for him to like go to Williams, a private team, over Audi. Like,
That's what I was just, because I feel like it says more about Williams than it does about Audi, because I think it says a lot about James Vowles and their commitment to Carlos Sainz and to wanting him. Like, they spoke publicly about it. Like, I don't think I ever saw Kick or anyone else for that matter speak publicly about wanting Carlos Sainz. So, but
that's true.
James Vowles went to the media and was like, we want Carlos. And I think that he probably pulled a lot of strings there to make that happen. I think James's leadership is something that's probably important. I think another thing that nobody's talking about is I think Alex was really important in this deal, because when Carlos at the beginning of the year had his appendix stuff, Alex went like out of his way to help him. I remember hearing stories about Alex going into the Ferrari garage to help him tie his put his belt in like a specific place so it didn't hurt his scar and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think Alex could have been.
It could. Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I think if there's one thing for sure, Williams has their work cut out for him. I mean, damn, we talked about it. They got a 2-year deal cooking, so I mean, you have to. I would say they're on a prove-it deal right now. And at the end of the day, I know we talked about it, and I agree that he didn't really have another option. I mean, you could have gone to Haas, but at the end of the day, this is a sister team. This is a Mercedes sister team that one of the best drivers in the nation just signed to.
So is McLaren, and McLaren are beating Mercedes right now. Who knows? I mean, the no appendix amigos is going to be pulling up in the Williams. Like, you know, it's going to be pretty fun. Yeah, I know. That's the strategy. Save the cost.
I mean,
don't want to pull a George Russell.
There's only one of 2 drivers that have won races in the past 2 years, and they're named Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz. So, because Checo has not gotten a checkered flag this year. So, I mean, if you're going to have arguably one of the best drivers on the grid and you can't do anything with them, then that's just a testament to Williams. So, we shall see, right?
Yeah. I mean, what do you do as Williams if you fail Carlos Sainz? I mean, I don't know. Like,
they're not worried about that right now. They're worried about what severance package they're giving Logan Sargent, which is probably like, I don't know, a goodbye card. I mean, imagine what he's going through, seeing his boss week after week for the past few months just go to the media and say, yeah, we're looking at many different options. You know, of course, we're looking for a very strong driver next year. You know, Carlos Sainz is somebody we're interested in. Imagine Logan having to get in a car after hearing his boss say, basically, you're fired week after week.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
A lot of the other teams will say, like, they'll let them, especially the media know, and I guess their driver before that they're gonna be ending things with that driver, like in K-Mag's situation and stuff like that, where it's not necessarily that they've already signed another deal, but we're not gonna continue with him. And I feel like they really didn't do that with Logan. I feel like everybody just assumed he wouldn't be there, but until Carlos's deal was officially signed, they didn't. It's not like they let him go. I don't know.
It took me a while to be convinced with the Williams deal because, again, we heard that radio conversation with Val's last year at the end of the season. He's like, brother, like, we're very excited for the next couple of years. We're going to build on this. This is going to be fantastic. Yeah. And obviously, as the cards are put on the table and you see Logan struggling yet again, and you see Carlos needs a home, you're like, okay, this is definitely going to happen, but it's a shame because, I don't know, like, verbal commitments, like, I don't know, it's on record that James Vowles, like, said, like, hey, we, excited for this, blah. Obviously, it means nothing unless there's a handshake involved, but, like, or documentation, but still, I don't know.
I mean, it's, like, it's weird because, of course, I mean, we talked about it, and I guess, I don't know, like, the whole deal that Logan's just going to IndyCar, that's kind of a done deal, it feels like, at this point.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the best thing for him at this point.
I hope so.
I mean,
I'd like to see him in there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. The whole dynamic, and I don't want to bring, like, I don't want to say politics, but, like, the whole idea of a British team disrespecting an American, you know what I mean? It feels off. It just doesn't feel right.
I think, for me at least, there's always been a disconnect with Logan, and I don't know that maybe it doesn't necessarily have to do with the fact that he's American. Maybe it has more to do with the fact that he had, like, a lot of poor performance over the last 2 years, but genuinely, I feel like he's kind of excluded from the grid. Like, you don't see him hanging out with a lot of drivers. There's drivers that over the summer break have been seen together and stuff, but I feel like he's always been, like, his secluded, and maybe it does have part to do with the fact that he's American and the rest of them are mostly European, and so it's just kind of like this little disconnect is like, kind of like, what's a kilometer, you know? So there's always been about it. I don't know if it has something to do with it, but
I think that could be an underrated part of it too, just because, I mean, you look at Haas, I mean, they're an American team, but like, other than that, it's like, there isn't a lot of American representation, if at all. Besides, I guess you could look at Zach Brown, but I don't know. That's not, like, a race car driver, that's not racing team. I don't know. Americans are still kind of working their way into F1, so it's kind of just an odd dynamic, I feel like.
I will say, in Logan's favor, I think he has 3 home races essentially for the year, though.
Yeah,
you want to talk about American representation. You got Miami, you got COTA, and you have Vegas. I mean,
absolutely,
it's definitely the country with the most races. Obviously, America's a massive place. You look at all 3 of those races; they're in 3 vastly different parts of the country. But still, it's like, I don't know. I mean, if anybody was going to feel at home on a race weekend, I feel like he would be more likely to, because he has the most chances of it.
No, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
like everybody talks about winning that home race. I guess Miami would be the closest to his actual home race. But obviously this is like Delulu land, but if you were to win any race, any of the U.S. races, it'd be considered winning your home race, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
The best you could take away is how many times he started ahead of Perez.
Oh yeah,
he's done that job well. The 7 or 8 times on the count between qualifying and crashing. How many times he started ahead of Perez?
8 times? Is that the number?
8 times.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember
best car on the grid for a little bit. Started ahead of him 8 times.
Before the last time that Logan outqualified Checo, there was this meme that I remember saying, I think I even talked about it on the podcast, where it was 007, meet 007, 0 poles, 0 wins, 7 times outqualified Sergio Perez in a Red Bull. Then it was 8. It was the same weekend that I saw that meme. So
he's a Red Bull killing specialist, that man right there.
No, he's on. I firmly hope he's on the Alexander Rossi career arc. Rossi went back of the grid team, fell out of F1, went over rookie year in IndyCar, won the Indy 500, and now he's a top tier driver. Won many races, racing for the top teams, McLaren and Andretti. Interestingly enough, McLaren, he parted ways with them. I
was gonna say, I hope they don't treat Logan Sargent like.
And another twist of McLaren drama. One of the best drivers in IndyCar right now is leaving McLaren. Anyways, back to Logan.
Logie land.
Logan. Well, speaking of Red Bull, there's been a lot of fuss around Adrian Newey ever since he decided he was leaving Red Bull. But recently, a lot of people suggesting he has already signed a contract with Aston Martin, and that they're now moving on to try and sign Max Verstappen for 2026. Thoughts?
Oh, let's go, baby. I mean, come on. Max to Aston would be so cool. And of course, there's the fact, too, that Aston used to be with Red Bull, too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, Adrian designed the Aston Martin Valkyrie, and then he basically copy-pasted to create the RB17.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know, maybe Max, he might be sick of Toto's love letters and might be, looking at Aston Martin hey, I don't want any of this anymore. I don't know. What is he going to do?
Call me.
I don't. It seems so far-fetched, but so is Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari. So I don't know.
Call me a goof if you want, but I just want one driver to stick with a team their whole career. I know that's crazy to say, but it's hard.
It's hard in this economy, man.
Like Eli Manning.
It's abnormal to what's it called? F1. Obviously, you could even say obviously we know Lewis as the Mercedes driver. We know Michael Schumacher is for Ferrari, but Schumacher drove for 3 teams I think throughout his career. He started with so he ended with Mercedes. 4. 4th.
Yeah, Mercedes,
Jordan, Benetton,
Jordan.
Mercedes.
I knew Benetton. I just forgot about Jordan. That's what I'm saying. I don't
Jordan
know.
is a bonus, so he was there for a race or 2.
But you consider when you talk about Schumacher, you're talking about Ferrari, and when you talk about Lewis, you're talking about Mercedes. But you can't forget that he also drove McLaren. So it hasn't just been one team. Max drove for Rosso, but that's a Red Bull sister team. So it would be considered Red Bull your entire career, unless he leaves. The thing is, I feel like he's up till here with Red Bull politics right now, and
that would be
because I spent the whole weekend with my dad's side of the family. Shout out to them if any of them watch any of this stuff. But we talked a lot about F1 because everybody knows I have podcasts. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're the F1 fans." Yep, I'm the F1 fan. That is my only defining characteristic. But we talked about it a lot, and they were like, I don't know that Max has even one hand on this championship right now because Red Bull has no money because Checo keeps crashing. Aston has an abundance of money. And even Lance, who is not the most consistent driver, isn't crashing all the time. Like nowhere near the amount of times, the amount of crash damage that Checo has this year. So could just be an escape for him. Again, you talked about it. Aston has been part of the Red Bull family before, and Adrian being there could be a huge addition, like easy way out. He's like, I'm following the good guy. He wins everything. I'm going with him to win everything.
And I'm sure having Fernando Alonso would be nice as well. Having a guy with that type of pedigree on your team.
Well, but wouldn't it be to replace Fernando Alonso?
Yeah, I think
Fernando would be 40 something. That'd be for 20.
Oh well, yeah. If Max won, for sure.
F1.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be crazy though. A Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen team. Oh my gosh,
sick.
That would be wild.
That'd be insane.
I feel like I feel like Fernando would get mad at Max pretty fast. I feel like Fernando would be like the grandpa, just rocking his chair, and all of a sudden this new kid comes in. It's like, who the hell are you?
It's like sim racing at 3 a.m. Alonso's tried to sleep in the next room.
Exactly.
He's just like screaming into the. Oh no!
Yeah, it's definitely two different generations, but I think they get along actually really well.
Yeah.
I mean, he does with George. Yeah. Most unlikely friendship ever, but he hangs out with George. I thought that was pretty fun.
They're going to clubs.
He's cool with the young kids.
2 New Year's parties in a row now.
Yepper.
So, what? Also, Red Bull. Jonathan Wheatley was announced to be leaving Red Bull and going to Audi, to be team principal at Audi.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of comments about this being another one of the Christian Horner failures or side effects that happened early in the year. But
it's very possible.
The Red Bull brain drain has been crazy.
But do you know anyone who would pass up a team principal opportunity to remain a sporting director?
No.
That's my only point. It's
waited until hold on. I need to say this coincidence. So apparently the Red Bull employee who brought the allegations against Horner, her appeal was just turned down by the court, saying it was garbage. It was nothing was wrong. I think he was waiting until the appeal to finally finalize the move, because if Horner was indicted and got kicked out, Wheatley would step in. So maybe he was holding out.
Yeah.
That's big brain right there. That's big brain.
I don't know. Maybe he was waiting and made that chess move. It's like, I'm going to wait until this ends.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Team has so many powerhouses in terms of people that have been on the grid and have had a lot of experience. Talked about Mattia Bonato on last pod, going in as chief technical director and chief operating officer. And then now you have Jonathan Wheatley as your team principal, and so many other people obviously that are associated with that project. You got Nico Hulkenberg as well. I feel like this is going to be a great team.
Yeah.
I honestly,
they're
a great team.
They have a all-star squad right now of personalities, it seems like, between Bonito and now Wheatley. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be real fun, I think.
Man, Bonato, as incredible engineer he was, he didn't totally lead the Ferrari team great. And he failed his way upwards. He went from engine technical officer to team principal. It's now he's above team principal. How did that happen?
Experience, man.
Confidence. Audi's gonna have an incredible engine, so I'm not worried at all.
I feel like he'll be so much better as a lieutenant. I don't know why they gave him all this power, but I don't know.
Why not?
He's gonna introduce the Germans to pasta or something. It's gonna be something like a revolution. They're gonna sit down and look at me what's the red sauce? I don't know. I mean, the guy's haircut is next level here. I mean, I don't know if you saw the press release, but it's literally him in front of here it is. Oh, this is beautiful. It's him in front of a blank concrete wall, wearing a
it's a high school t-shirt. It's a high school picture. This is
that's a high school music teacher right there.
A high school sub.
He does.
Oh my god! my head. High School Music teacher.
Oh my gosh!
And of course, to set it off, you got the little Harry Potter googlies on him.
Oh man, the guy has style and flair like you wouldn't believe. Like he's walking into fashion German offices with jeans and a blue polo. Like awesome. Man is ready to rock their world. So I hope he does. I hope Audi and Sainz have a lot of success.
I'll tell you what, they're gonna have some killer apparel. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, the Italian fashion's gonna go crazy.
Oh man, the Prada teamwear. Oh, watch out.
Have you seen? We talked about it on the pod when I was coming back from Jeddah. How I like ran into a lot of the Ferrari team, and they are like beautiful travel attire that was all matching with their matching backpacks, and that's gonna be the new Audi. Audi is gonna be like
absolutely
for sure.
He's going to bring that style in. Who do you think, though, is going to be with Nico? Because there's still no one, like, besides Sainz.
Yeah, that's tough.
There's no rumors besides Sainz.
I'd like to think it would be Bottas.
I got to think
that'd be cool.
Bottas for a year and then pick someone else in 26.
Yeah.
I could see that being a possibility. We talked about this a little while ago, that Bottas is not that old. So, like, I mean, he's older, obviously, but he's still not that old. So, if you're going to try and have a first year as a team building kind of deal, then I think that's a great idea, actually.
Yeah. I would say Valtteri Bottas is the greatest number 2 driver of all time.
The big brain move from Christian Horner would be to put him in the Red Bull seat and not Ricciardo. The greatest number 2 of all time next to Max. I mean, you said it yourself, Steven.
This is true. You're
doing all the real thinking. Why aren't you in F1?
Oh, well, thank you.
Holy crap.
I know, that would be awesome, though. Why not have Valtteri be Max's teammate? That'd be awesome.
Listen, the raw brain power of this podcast could run effectively the best F1 team known to man. Okay.
Yes. I agree.
Like
Red Bull, if you're listening.
Wow. Listen.
The better question is why is Danny Rick still in a F1 seat? I'm gonna be hated on so much for saying this, but the man
don't you hate on the?
He's not performing. I'm sorry, but he's
not.
I want to see.
But at least he's making money.
I want to see Liam Lawson. I am the biggest Liam Lawson supporter ever. I want my Kiwi on the grid.
Oh man, you just pissed off a lot of Aussies. I'll tell you that much.
I'm sorry, it's true. Speaking of Aussies, Oscar Piastri's mom went on the Red Flags podcast. I want to say it was last week. That was the best. I watched all hour and 45 minutes of that podcast, and it was amazing. There you go. It was amazing. Yeah. She's hilarious.
I mean, if you look at the standings, right? If we look at it based off of driver standings, I mean, he's right next to Yuki. Yuki's 10 points ahead of him, but RB is they're in 12th and 13th respectively. I think the only drivers that's realistically beating them, like, is Hülkenberg, who he's tied points with Yuki. But I think that RB is right where they should be in terms of the standings, in terms of individual drivers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know it's weird to say, like, we think that Ricciardo should be doing better. But if you look at the numbers, like, they're right. I mean, 12th and 13th. Like, I mean, it should be 11th and 12th, in my opinion. But, like...
And you know what? If Red Bull's so concerned about money, Danny Rick is one of the biggest money makers in F1. Sure. I mean, and he's not going to crash the car like Checo does. I mean, he just doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But I just don't... like, again, we've said this so many times. Why is Danny Rick not going to... I mean... Again, like you said, he's not crashing the car. And I think that he is good enough to perform to an adequate level in whatever car he's driving.
Yeah.
If you're never gonna put Yuki in the Red Bull, fine, keep him in the V car, but then put Daniel in the Red Bull, bring Liam in, and get rid of Checo. That's the number one priority right now, and I don't know why Red Bull doesn't have a brain cell.
Even the F1 website thinks that Danny Rick should be on Red Bull. Like,
right.
Absolutely.
Golly.
What about Mercedes? Kimi Antonelli supposedly has already signed his Mercedes contract.
Yeah.
Many times. I feel like it has been a done deal for a while.
Yeah.
Great move.
Yeah. Well, of course, the biggest question we've always had is is this too early for him? Is he ready? Is he ready to go into the Mercedes seat?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a true put all your chips in and hope for the best. But
does anyone have a shout as to how he's doing in F2 this year?
he just won his first race, didn't he?
He just won his first race. Yeah, he's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I would say though, he did do an interview where he said that he wasn't sure he was ready for F1, and that kind of got me on like the maybe crazy. He's not going to sign. But ultimately, again, I've said this over and over and over again, probably since Kimi Antonelli was brought into the picture, and that is that Toto Wolff has so much internal regret, I think, if not signing Max Verstappen back in 2015 to come into F1. Red Bull gave him the opportunity to come into F1. All they could offer him was an F2 seat with the potential to maybe come into F1, like add a sister team like Williams or something. And Max was like, no, go in Red Bull. And I think now they want to capitalize on this because if they don't, someone else will. Right?
Yeah.
Who's to say that if they don't sign Kimi Antonelli for 25, Audi doesn't go and be like, you know what? I want him. So I think that regardless of us talking about it too early, Mercedes is going to think more on the other side of like, I can't be too late on this call too, you know, like rather safe than sorry.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Cost them.
And you know what? Kimi does have incredible memory. We did learn that.
Yes.
Oh my, that video is incredible. That's incredible. If you guys haven't seen that, he can remember all of his like fastest lap times and his quali times and all of that stuff, which I find I think it's more common than we think. But we're being able to remember a lap time from like 4 years ago when you were racing F4, like that's insane.
I mean, it's like arguably more impressive. And listen, I love Seb, but when Seb can name all of the champions in the sport, I feel like it's more.
Too.
That was incredible too. It's an incredible feat. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure all of us have been dorks before and sat in front of like Mario Kart and trying to beat our ghost lap time, you know, and like we don't remember that. But obviously doing it for a profession, it's different, you know, like knowing those numbers is actually important. So it's like, but still, like that's like he went. I don't know how far back they went with the questions. I can't remember the like.
Well,
the oldest
Seb went all the way. Seb went all the way to the first championship, to 1950, which is arguably extremely impressive because he didn't live for most of that.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, also, if you're just a history dork, then knowing that is not. I'm not trying to say it's impressive, but if I sat and I really cared about it, I could memorize that just like I could memorize the amount of countries in the world. You know, like I mean, there are people that can sing songs.
Do you think he has flashcards? Like he's sitting there with Quizlet. Before they go to the grid, he's like, "What are they gonna ask?"
If I went
doing
on
the Quizlet.
If I went on Quizlet,
I mean, you know, F1 drivers, they're competitive as hell. Like you might have done it.
Yeah. Do you think? Do you think there's a Quizlet? If I go on Quizlet right now, it's by Seb Vettel. Like it's on.
It's like as a Vettel.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious. They are super competitive, and there's certain Grow the Grids that, like, I think some of them like more than others. Like, for example, anything countries related, Max is really fond of because he had I'm pretty sure it was like a shower curtain or like a poster on his wall or something of like the world map, and he would like sit there and memorize the countries. So he knows the map by heart. But like, there's other things that others are really good at, like Seb with the championship stuff, or Charles was really good at the face smash one that they just did because that was so funny. There are some mashed faces I will never be able to unsee.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
I will say too. I feel like Toto's gonna absolutely love Kimi doing this. I feel like he's just gonna be on the radio mid race, just like, "Hey, what was your time Q1 2015?" Now.
He's like part of the interview.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Last bit of news before we go on to just like talking general summer break for the drivers. Andretti is currently, we saw a lot of stuff on Capitol Hill and all that stuff. Liberty Media is currently facing a major investigation by the Department of Justice for their handling of Andretti's application into Formula One. I did Fun Fact Friday on this. Yep. I made my opinion clear that I don't think this is going anywhere, but do you guys think this could could this be team number 11 like sooner rather than later?
This is just on my end of it. I just don't know what the grounds are. I don't know what the DOJ is looking for. I don't know if it's antitrust. Like, it's not antitrust, but maybe? I don't know.
It is on that grounds because they're
because F1 is like a monopoly. It's like they can't monopoly. They can't just say like, actually, no, you can't monopoly. Like I know that there's certain agreements that the U.S. has with like the NFL and the MLB where they have like their own rights to remember to decide on this stuff on their own. If I'm pretty sure that's what it is it not, Jason?
Yeah, basically, if you look at it antitrust wise, F1 kind of has a monopoly on a worldwide open wheel motorsport that anybody can enter.
Yeah.
And like other sports like the MLB, they have literally an exemption for the antitrust laws to have a monopoly on baseball. Now, also what plays into it is that unlike the MLB, which they're the rule makers and the money makers of the sport, where they could be like, oh, a new team in this city wouldn't fit, whatever. The rule makers of F1, the FIA, already approved them. So it could be seen as anti-competitive to say, hey, legally and by your own rules, they should be allowed to compete and they've been accepted. Why aren't you figuring out commercial terms to get them in? This is an illegal blocking of an entry into something that they've already been granted. So that's interesting. And it is an official investigation by the DOJ now, not just a threatening letter. It was literally mentioned by Liberty Media's CEO on their earning calls, I think last week. So that would be interesting. I'm kind of with Marina. I don't think anything will happen, but I would love for it to happen. I think it'd be so funny to see Andretti pull up on the grid.
Personally, I think it'd be kind of sad if this is the way that Andretti got into Formula One. Because I think we talked about before, this is like getting your dad to let you into something because you're not getting playtime. It's like
coach's son.
Exactly.
This isn't playtime. This is Andretti. Like they have a base in England.
If you're Andretti, do you want to be like, yeah, we were let into F1 because we told our government to let us in?
It's like
I think that makes it more badass. You literally have the backing of the U.S. government to have you show up to F1.
Yeah.
As long as you don't finish last. Do it.
I don't know how much of a flex that is right now, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it would be hilarious. No,
it's not that much of a flex, in my opinion. I do agree with Steven. I think that it's kind of
It'll be Team USA. I'm ready for that. I'm ready. Team USA.
It's kind of like a Lance Stroll. The flag.
The most American thing I have is this 50 cal bullet. I mean, that's what I got.
My guy, we don't need kilometers. All our F1 cars are in miles.
Oh wait, I also have an M1 Abrams. I don't know if that helps.
Let's go.
There you go.
Already.
Put these two together and you get a war, baby.
I got all sorts of it. I got an F-35 as well, 3D printed.
USA. And Jody, USA.
Yes.
I'm so ready.
This is so not American.
It would be great. It would be great to see Andretti on the grid. But I agree with Steven as to I think that the majority of the fans of F1 would take this as like a Lance Stroll situation. Whereas for you to race in F1, now it's your government has let you into F1 on a technicality of your laws. Because it's Liberty Media is a U.S. company that owns F1 as a sport, whereas this was never an issue before Liberty Media because it's not U.S. owned, so the laws don't apply. U.S. laws don't apply. I think at the end of the day, either something comes of this, or F1 and Liberty Media come to an agreement to have the same type of exemption to the laws that the NFL and the MLB and have with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The fans love Andretti. They're mad at F1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't totally share that. I mean, I agree with you, Marina, that nothing will probably come of it, and Andretti probably won't be forced into F1 by the U.S. government. But I think the fans would love Andretti in F1. They're really upset when they, me. I was really upset when they didn't get.
Jason is we.
No, but all the fans were.
Steven alluded to it almost earlier. It's like, Haas is a American team. Like, as American fans, we want a true American team, and there's no better name to have in the sport, in my opinion, than the greatest name in motorsports, Andretti. So I mean, that's just, I'm on the same page, I think, with Jason on that. Is obviously patriotism. We love our country, and we want to see our team, we want to see a team represent our country. But at the same time, it's like, Andretti, that name is so heavy. It's such a heavy name. He's also the man has won a Formula One championship. I mean, I don't know. It's just it was like meaning old man Andretti, Mario Andretti. But
definitely not Michael or Marco.
No.
Marco Polo. I think he says that when he walks to the house, like checking Marco's home. Like he's like Polo, and Marco's like Marco, like Marco Andretti. Oh no. That's like a Lance Stroll situation to the max. Like Marco, the most he has is like a second place, which is pretty valid. Like he's good at the 500, but even that, he's like,
nah.
Anyways,
I will say,
off topic.
If we don't have any immediate more news to talk about, I just thought of one more thing. Is that an old timer from F1? And he's arguably one of the best race car drivers of our generation. Well, not our. He's older than us. But Juan Pablo Montoya is coming back to NASCAR, baby.
I saw that.
Yeah,
see that.
For what?
He's driving. Here we go. There he is. Wait. Yeah.
There's the boy, baby.
For?
He's driving for 23XI.
Legacy, isn't it?
Yeah, he's driving for Denny Hamlin's team. Yep.
For what race?
I think he's going to the Glen. Watkins Glen.
The road course. I mean, he'll do well there. He's such a road course ringer.
He's won there before.
But he raced in NASCAR for a while, and he was good. He won 2 Indy 500s. He won the Monaco Grand Prix. You only need to win Le Mans to have the Triple Crown, but I don't think he would do Le Mans.
Probably not. He's more focused on his son right now, because I think his son's in Formula 3. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Yeah. I know there's a Montoya in F3.
Yeah. Sebastian Montoya.
I'm pretty sure that's his son. Yeah.
Yep. I think is that F3 or is F2?
I think it's F3. Pretty sure.
I think it's F3. Okay. Yeah, I think that's super cool. I don't know that his son is going places, if I'm being completely honest, F3 wise, but he's a great racer, so I think that. I mean, I hope that he does well in back in NASCAR. Speaking of American sports, I want to quickly touch on Olympics because Lewis made a appearance at the Olympics alongside Nina Dobrev and Shaun White. U.S. dominating, of course. Like we had to go there and tie with China for most gold medals and win overall medal count by I don't know how many, 30, 40 medals, something like that. Taking the dub.
I did think it's.
Go for it.
I was just gonna say I thought it was pretty cool actually that I saw that 65% of the golds were won by women this year, which I thought was kind of cool.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. No, our ladies carried big time.
Oh yeah, 100%. There, especially. I mean, I used to swim, so I watched a lot of the swimming, and our ladies, our men. I think they won 2, maybe 3 individual medals, if that.
Yeah, and swimming, they didn't do too hot.
No.
We're flying. I will say, in America's defense, most of the people who won gold in a lot of sports train in the United States, so it's competing.
That bothers the heck out of me, man.
So, I don't know. It's a little bit unfair, because I think Russell touched on this, is we used to have the edge for a long time, because the way we trained was superior to other types, and we have a lot of backing from, even government wise, where we're talking about in school athletics and stuff like that, where you start so young, and a lot of things around parents putting their kids in school in sports super early. So we have that, and that was our advantage. But now you have people come from other countries that are coming to train in the U.S., so we lose our advantage.
Yep.
I feel like that shouldn't be allowed, honestly.
I don't think it shouldn't be allowed, but I think it's going to push us. For the next Summer Olympics, it's not going to be easy for us as a team at all.
Fundamentally, I mean, again, that's one of our greatest features about the country we live in, is that those people can come here because we are a country,
it's true.
Fundamentally based off the belief that anybody should be able to come here and, follow their dreams and do stuff like that. So, and at the end of the day, we should just be better. I mean, if you want to come in my turf, that's fine.
That's true.
We're going out there to compete, then I'm going to put you 6 feet under. That's how the mentality should be. Granted,
absolutely.
Now see, that's how Andretti should become the F1 right there. That's how it should be done. With force.
That's exactly what they need me to kind of like a Carroll Shelby kind of vibe.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm.
What's Carol Shelby's most famous quote? He
goes,
goes,
director. Put everybody in their places.
I think Carol Shelby's most famous quote, he like had a short little intro the minute he got hired by Ford. He says, "Hi, I'm Carol Shelby, and I build race cars." Like, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
No, he says, "I'm Carol Shelby, and performance is my business." That's what he says. Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
I got off topic. I'm sorry.
Tristan.
I love it. Also,
man.
can we have a last minute quick mention about the fact that the get injured, win a race streak is still alive, because Oscar Piastri disclosed recently that he broke a rib after Silverstone and then proceeded to win a race in Hungary. So,
man,
did he say how he did it? No,
I don't think so. I can check, but I'm pretty sure he just said, like,
he hadn't gotten into a crash.
That hurts.
Yeah,
that hurt.
My roommate broke like 3 ribs, and he didn't know initially because like whatever doctor he went to like could not get a clear X-ray and assumed it was just a pulled muscle. And for literally 2 months, he had 3 broken ribs, had no clue. Like, he would sleep, he would have pain, couldn't do any push-ups, couldn't lift anything. Like, doing that is extremely painful. I don't know how he did that. That's insane.
Especially with the G-force these guys are pulling. I can't.
Whew.
I mean, that's
like,
what he's
the belts like holding you in the seat.
Yeah, he said first part of the season done, first GP victory, first broken bone, ribs are enjoying the break. So I'm assuming, I'm sure he's enjoying being able to relax and not take those G-forces all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
This was on the 8th of July. That's when the X-ray is from.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he released an X-ray. Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So he posted. I don't know if this is an X-ray.
Even SB Nation is on this. That's wild.
So yeah.
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
Interesting.
You can see the break. Interesting.
Oh yeah.
For non-Americans, for Americans, I guess. No, this is not the 7th of August. This is the 8th of July. Because every other country does the date the other way. Anyways, I've forgotten this way too many times. So today, quote of the day.
Let's go.
Is a must. I'm pulling it up.
Yes.
Not from any specific race, so, but I think you'll know it. All the time you have to leave space.
Max Verstappen.
No.
Bahrain 2012, Fernando Alonso.
I don't know how you do it. How did you
get
the
Kimi Antonelli, baby.
Let me see. Bahrain.
Yes, correct.
I don't think it was. It is 2012.
Bahrain,
yeah,
2012.
Nico Rosberg, right?
Dude, what the hell is going on here?
I don't know, man. You heard there's no typing. I just, straight up from the back of the brain. I don't know
I think we found it.
Do you have the Neuralink installed? What's going on here?
Bro, I mean, I must. Me and Elon Musk, we're like this. Like.
I think we found Kimi Antonelli's future teammate right here.
Seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know who's more impressive. I think Jason,
I don't know, man.
Because it's not his job to know these facts. He just knows them for fun.
Man, I know it was on the first straight there after turn 2, going into turn 3, the right-hander. That's where it was. I have the video ingrained in my mind. That's so funny.
Marina, you gotta do for quote of the day once. You gotta do the I know he would break because he has a wife and kids at home. Classic. The classic. Fernando Alonso about Michael Schumacher.
No way.
Yeah. That was in
Fernando's not married either. He's like the oldest guy. He's not married.
I forget.
No,
It's you've definitely seen the video 1,000 times, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Probably.
There's this one braking section in one race, and he just outbraked Michael, but it was it was a risky outbrake, and then he said that he was I knew he would break because he has a wife and kids at home. It's mean. It's ruthless.
That is mean. That's ruthless. I love that. No. But on that note, thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back not this Monday, but the next Monday at 11:30 Eastern time. So stay tuned. In the meantime, follow us on our socials. Stay tuned with Tech Tuesday, Wag Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Fun Fact Friday, Man on the Street. We got it all. So check that out. Bye, guys.